thought I'd do another little video just showing some of the common issues that we get on the minis. So one thing that can be particularly problematic is if you go to turn on the SatNav, the thing never starts up. It just stays on the start and navigation system screen. It doesn't go any further, and that tends to occur alongside the Bluetooth, occasionally forgetting things. So you might lose all your phones, your contacts, just not connect even though it's still saved there. And it seems from reading online, the main cause of that is the car's inbuilt hard drive begins to fail. So I'm going to have a bit of an experiment. I don't know whether I can solve this or not, but what a few people have done on BMW forums is change the original hard drive from the car for a solid state drive rather than one that uses a magnetic spinning disc. So I'm going to see first of all if I can find the thing, take it out, use a cloning program to clone the hard drive, code it onto a solid state drive and refit it to the car. That's the theory. Whether it all works remains to be seen, but wish me luck. So I'm going to start with a couple of the easy bits. First and foremost is this little vent trim up at the top here. So that's just tucked in, so you can pop that up with a plastic trim tool, as you can see. That will come off. And then the other one, this is obviously a F54 Clubman Mini rather than the F56 hatch or 55 saloon. So with the 55 and 56s, there's a little pin you remove there, and then this trim comes off. But on the 56, you have to rotate it a few degrees, like so, and then it comes off, just like that. And that will reveal, first of all, a couple of Torx screws, one there and one there. And then there's a little clip that you can only get to from the top in here in order to pop the screen out. So I've not got enough hands, but I'll just try and do that just now. The other part you have to do in the F54 that you don't have to do in the 56 is remove these little vents at the side because they cover up these plastic areas. So again, they only clip in with these sort of 4 metal clips. So best tip is trim tool underneath. See if you can carefully pop it out from the bottom, the top, and then again from the bottom, like so. And then it should remove. Do need to be slightly firm with them, I'm afraid. There we go. So now I've removed these 2 Torx screws that I showed before. You can see the only place that's kind of held at the moment is at the top, but even then I've inadvertently popped it out. So it's that clip there that locks it in, goes through that hole that you can access from the top here. And then these 2 metal clips. So you can see in mine, might look a bit different to yours because I've fitted an MMI box in there. That's used so that I can have an aftermarket CarPlay solution. So the next thing we're going to do is just undo all these connectors from the back of the screen. That gives you an idea just how to sort of get that out your road. So the next job we want to do is start undoing a lot of these connectors off of the unit. So I found it easier to undo the top screws here and here. It just gives you a bit more space to pull the unit forward. These little white bits flick up and then push in, and you can literally pull the connectors off. They're all colour coded, which makes it a little bit easier as well. Then in here you can just see there's a couple of last little connectors. I need both hands to get them off, and here and here. Then after that the unit should be able to pull out. Right, with all the connectors out, I've been able to get the unit back out onto my lap. So I'm pretty sure that under this panel here is where the hard drive is. All these little tiny Torx screws holding it in. So you can see they were manufactured by Harman, NBT Evo Hedge unit. So let's get that open and see if we can find the hard drive. So you can see with that removed, hard drive is contained there. So it's a nice little Toshiba unit. Pretty common in both the Minis and BMWs and probably quite a lot of other cars, to be honest. Mine isn't too bad, it's not making any horrible noises, but I've just got the early signs of occasional Bluetooth issues, and as I showed at the start of the video, the SatNav not working. So I'm going to take this out and see if I can get a clone of it made onto an SSD. Removing the hard drive is pretty straightforward. There are 4 screws just on the surround there, and then a 5th one just down there that I'll remove in a second. This should lift out in its little metal cradle with that circuit board still attached. Once that's out, that should literally pull out of the hard drive and we should be good to go. Okay, so I've removed those 5 screws. It should be simply a case of just easing this up. Again, I'll need to turn the camera off a second just so I can do that with both hands. And there you go, that's it, lifted out. So if I set this here for a second, this little circuit board simply as an adapter comes out, and we can leave that safely in the car while I go away and see if we can do something with this hard drive. So again, all I'm going to do is take off the 4 screws that hold it into this neat little cradle here. Although I might take it in and see if I can get a burn made of it first before I start doing too much. So now we've moved indoors, got the hard drive here. One of the things I'm using is a cable USB 3 to SATA, which is what you can use to plug the hard drive into the USB port of your laptop. And then a solid state drive, which here you can see is the same physical dimensions. So just show a quick video. This is the new hard drive installed, so it's a 250 gig solid state drive. Literally, circuit board goes into it, same as before, and it goes into that little cradle there. So as you can see, I've refitted it quickly with 2 screws. I'm just going to put the other 2 in, then I'll put the cover back on the head unit. There we go, just like that. That's the last 2 screws in, so all 4 screws are now in place. And actually I've just remembered there's one here as well, 5th screw. And just like that, there's the 5th screw fitted as well. So the cover just slides back on as well. Same again, 2 screws up there and another couple at the back here. So again, that's those screws all in now. So we're now ready to put the head unit back into the slot. My wiring's a bit more crazy than most because I've got an MMI unit to cable in here as well, so stand by. So there we go, that's that there. So you can see you've got some colour coded plugs that can all go back on. It makes it a bit more straightforward. So I find it useful to get these ones over to here. And you can start with the sort of mustard one up the top. Again, very easy to do, just locate them down and then push the white locking tab down. Where's the blue one going? There you are. Right. I'll just pause it while I do up the last of these, but you get the idea. So just like that, that's all the connectors in. So I'm just going to push this back now, which I'll leave my other hand for, and then I'll start fitting the 2 screws either end that hold that cradle in. And you'll see there that that's the head unit screwed back in, and then the MMI unit there as well. So I've got a bit of wiring tidying to do now. So just like that, that's the screen back in. Did up the 2 screws at the bottom, and there's a few clips at the top there, so that's all done. Now you just need to fit in the air vents again, which I'm probably going to need both hands to do. Stand by. Right, so the air vents are in. The next little thing we need to do is just locate these 2 little tabs down here. There and there. That can go on at a very slight angle. Push it on, and you're just rotating it to lock it in place. And that goes on. And then finally, this little part here, just go back on the dashboard, and just needs a good sort of push back down to get the clips in. I think I'm going to need both my hands again. Yeah, so I can get this end in first, and then far end just sort of needs a good smack to get the clips in place, and that's done as well. So not sure how successful this has been. As soon as I put it on, all my radio stations are still there, which is useful. So remembered exactly what I was listening to. Phones all connected still. So again, all that information must have copied across in terms of Bluetooth settings and what have you. So that's all good. It's all there, Galaxy S23, and then my iPhone, which is another phone I've got. What's still not working for me is the SatNav. It just stays on start navigation system. We'll see how that goes after a little reboot, see if it comes back to life, but it may well be that the data that I've copied across from the old hard drive still corrupted when it came across, so it might be a case that an upgrade to iDrive 6 fixes everything now. We'll see how it goes. Over.